I'm gonna turn this into a series. You guys showed a ton of support on the first video like this, so I figured why not do another one. I'm not even really sure if this series is gonna have like a distinct name. It's kind of like a Q&A, but all the questions have something to do with the 2020-21 season so far. I'll probably just title the video something to do with one of the questions that were featured in the video. But yeah, if you guys think this is something that we should do every week or every other week or something, be sure to get down there in the comment section. Let me know that you enjoyed. So yesterday I posted on the community tab like usual, telling you guys to ask me anything about the 2021 NHL season so far. At the time I'm recording this video, there are over 250 comments on that post, so thank you to everybody who went and left a comment. Like I always say, I really wish I could feature them all, but don't worry, if your comment wasn't featured in this video, there's going to be many more like this in the near future. Before we begin, be sure to go follow my social medias like Instagram and Twitter. Links to those will be down below in the description, and most importantly, if this is your first time on the channel and you want more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and now let's begin. So the first question of the video comes from Quentin, who says, how long does Mantha's slump last? He has been terrible. I definitely agree. If you follow me on Twitter, you would know I've been pretty disappointed with Mantha's play so far this season. He seems like he's a step slower. The confidence just isn't there. Like, there are plays, for an example, last night against the Dallas Stars, he was up on a 2-on-1 with, I think, Matthias Brome. I believe the Dallas Stars defenseman was John Klingberg, who kind of laid down in the middle, took away the pass for sure. Mantha definitely had a lane to either drive to the net or shoot the puck, but instead of doing that like Mantha usually would, he tried to feather a contested pass over to Brome and the play got broken up. Stuff like that really is telling when it comes to a guy like Anthony Mantha, who usually has, a shoot first mentality. He has a really good shot. He's a goal scorer. Also, I find he's been doing a lot of puck watching in his own end. It was evident against the Blackhawks. He got benched against them because of it. I love Anthony Mantha. If you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you would know that. I'm confident that he can, break out of this slump and get back to being the Mantha that we know he can be. If he doesn't, then it's going to be a really long year for Wings fans. Moving along now to the next question. This one comes from Max Talon, who says, what do you think of the Vince Dunn situation? So if you guys don't really know what's going on there, he was a healthy scratch, and then it came out that the St. Louis Blues are open to trading him and are asking for a first-round pick in return. I like Vince Dunn. He's only 24 years old, has already played 3 full NHL seasons. He's not somebody who plays, up around 20 minutes a night, but in the role that he's had with the Blues over the past couple of seasons, he has been very good. He's got some offensive upside. He had 35 points in the 2018-19 season. He's solid defensively. His underlying numbers are very good. If I was a contending team that needed some help on the blue line, I would not hesitate at all to give up my first round pick for Vince Dunn. It's not like he's just going to be a rental. This is a guy who's probably going to play on your team for a long time. Now, on the other hand, if I was a rebuilding team, like for an example, the Red Wings, I would love Vince Dunn as a Red Wing, but Detroit's not giving up their first round pick for him because it's just too valuable. So it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out, what the future holds for Vince Dunn. I think if he is actually available, a lot of teams should be picking up the phone and calling the Blues about him. Continuing on now, this next comment comes from Rachel, who says, do you think Justin Holl will get some Norris Trophy votes? He definitely has been very good for the Maple Leafs to start the season. He's had a very positive impact on both ends of the ice, but Norris Trophy votes? No. Next up, this question comes from JTube, who says, will Lafreniere rebound from his horrible first 6 games now, and get back in the Calder Trophy conversation? I can't even begin to tell you guys how many comments there were on the post asking about Lafreniere, so I knew I had to talk about him. So it's no secret that it's been a disappointing start to the season for not only Lafreniere, but for the Rangers in general. That team has not looked very good at all. It is kind of shocking to me that he hasn't registered a single point through 6 games. He honestly seems kind of snake-bitten, like he's gotten some good chances. Now I know the hype around him heading into the season was massive, but I'm not going to look into his slow start too much. He's only 19 years old. Has he been underwhelming so far? Of course he has, but I've already seen some people throwing the word bust around, which is absolutely ridiculous. So many people did that last year when it came to Jack Hughes, and look at him this season. He's been a beast. I think Lafreniere is going to be just fine. Now, will he get into the Calder Trophy conversation? That's going to be pretty difficult. He's got a lot of catching up to do already. Based off of everything I've seen so far, I wouldn't count on him being a Calder Trophy finalist, but you never know. He he could go on some like 2-week hot streak and be right back in the conversation. This next question comes from James Court, who says, who will get more points this season, PLD, so Pierre-Luc Dubois or Patrick Laine? I'm gonna go with Laine on this one. He's already got a bit of a head start. He's only played one game this season. It was the Jets' first game of the season, but he had 3 points, scored a couple of goals. Dubois has only played 5 games this season, and he only scored 1 goal in those 5 games, which was his only point. But as we all know, Dubois wasn't really playing his best hockey in those 5 games this season with the Blue Jackets. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to see these two guys play with their new teams. Moving along now, this next question comes from Luke Wallstrom, who says, do you think the Wild are a playoff contender? Yeah, definitely. I thought they were heading into the season, just based off of them being in a weaker division. Like, we have a good idea of who the top 3 teams in that division are going to be, but then like spots 4 through 8, honestly, kind of wide open, and so far the Wild have looked pretty solid. They're 4-3, have 8 points, which is tied with the Ducks, Kings, and Avalanche for 3rd place in the division. At least so far, the Wild have been a pretty fun team to watch. Kirill Kaprizov obviously is drawing a lot of attention. Joel Eriksson Ek and Jordan Greenway, it's looking like they could be in for big breakout seasons. And I think the biggest difference from last year's Wild team to this year's team is they're actually getting good goaltending now. Devin Dubnyk was awful last season, but this year Cam Talbot and Kaapo Kähkönen have been fantastic. So if that keeps up, 100% the Wild are at least playoff contenders. Moving along now from Hayden Ball, are the Blue Jackets going to be a contender when Laine and Roslovic finally play? If you mean a Stanley Cup contender, I don't think so, but similar to what I was just talking about when it came to the Minnesota Wild, I do think the Blue Jackets are playoff contenders with those guys for sure. I mean, right now without Laine and Roslovic, they're actually 1st place in the Central, 2-2-3 record, 7 points. Now the reason they're in 1st place is because a lot of the other good teams in that division haven't played a whole lot of games, but still, they've looked alright, and with Laine and Roslovic coming in, they're obviously going to get better. Moving along now, this next question comes from Landon, who says, do you think Edmonton's power play will get any better soon? So currently they're 19th in the NHL in terms of power play percentage at 17.9, so it actually has gotten a little bit better already, but I would imagine it's only going to continue to get better. With the amount of talent that the Oilers can throw out there on their first power play unit, there's no reason they should be in 19th. This should be a top 10 power play easily. So yeah, again, I think it will continue to get better as the season goes along. This next question comes from Jeremy Park, who says, do you think the Duchene signing was really bad for Nashville? It's sort of looking like it. I mean, even at the time they signed the deal, everybody knew that that was a lot of money for Matt Duchene. $8 million a season through the 2026-27 season. They're paying him like a number 1 center, and he's just not a number 1 center. Last season, so Duchene's first year with the Predators was definitely underwhelming, but at least he still put up 42 points in 66 games, and through the first 6 games of this season, he hasn't looked just underwhelming. He's been downright bad for Nashville. If it keeps going in this direction, then yeah, this was definitely a really bad signing. Moving along now from Mr. Bang Bang _247, who is the most disappointing team thus far? This is a pretty difficult one. Vancouver's in there for me, same with Edmonton. I'm actually going to go with the New York Rangers though. This is a team that a lot of people, including myself, expected to get better this year, and like I said earlier when talking about Lafreniere, they have been very disappointing. They got a lot of guys struggling. Strome only has 1 goal in 6 games, Zibanejad just 2 points in 6 games, Shesterkin in the games that he played just looks completely different from last season. Now, I don't really expect this to keep up. Like, I don't think the Rangers are going to finish the season as one of the worst teams in the league. They just have way too much talent for that. But I mean, so far, I do think they have been the most disappointing team. Next up, kind of the opposite question to the last one. This one's from Nathan, who says, what team has really surprised you the most so far? I'm definitely going to go with the Los Angeles Kings on this one. Heading into the season, I predicted them to finish last place in the West Division, but looking at the standings right now, they're actually tied with the Avalanche, Ducks, and Wild for the 3rd most points in the division with 8. 2 out of their 3 wins came against the Avalanche and the Blues, who are very good teams. Anze Kopitar has been a beast. Jeff Carter's playing the best hockey he's played in a long time. Athanasiou's looking like a really good value signing for them as well. Jonathan Quick, even though his stats don't look the greatest, he has been at least better than he was last year. Cal Peterson's continuing to play well. And to think this is a team that still has Quentin Byfield, Alex Turcotte, and many other fantastic prospects. Kings. The future is very bright for the Kings, and yeah, they've been pretty surprising to me so far this season. Moving along now to the next question. This one comes from Dubs All Day, who says, will Ty Smith be a Calder candidate? Love the vids and keep up the great work. I appreciate the support, and if Ty Smith continues to put up points at this rate throughout the season, then yes, he's going to be a Calder candidate for sure. Now, I don't expect Ty Smith to be a point per game player throughout the entire season. That's a lot to ask for a rookie defenseman, but if he puts up like 35 to 40 points, then I think for sure he's in the conversation. He has been very impressive offensively so far. Next up from Angry Crab, will Vitek Vanacek take the starting job from Samsonov with how Vanacek has been playing? I mean, he's definitely putting a lot of pressure on Samsonov, albeit it is a small sample size. Vanacek has been the much better goaltender so far. He's been fantastic and very surprising. Not a lot of people knew of Vanacek heading into the season. He had never played a game in the NHL before this year. He had been playing in the American Hockey League. He's a second round pick by the Capitals from back in 2014, and again, it is a very small sample size, but it's looking like the Capitals could have another gem here. If Vanacek can continue to play like this, then the future of the Washington Capitals net is pretty bright with himself and Samsonov, who I think will bounce back from his rough start. Moving along now from Jeremy Park, do you think the Thornton and Campbell injuries will hurt the Leafs bad for the next month? Not really. I think that they're going to be fine. It's kind of funny that their backup goaltender with Campbell injured is now Michael Hutchinson, which, I mean, just seeing him on the bench is probably going to trigger PTSD for some Leafs fans. With Campbell out, there is definitely going to be that added pressure on Freddie Anderson to perform well. I'm sure the Leafs want to limit Michael Hutchinson's playing time as much as they can. I'm sure we'll see Hutchinson get into at least a couple of games, but with the way the Leafs are built, this is a really good team, and they should be able to survive injuries like this. And now finally, the final question of the video from Dan Slayer, will Jack Hughes get over 40 points by the season's end? Yes, 100% I think if Jack Hughes stays healthy and plays in the majority of the Devils game, he will get over 40 points. I think he could push 50 points. So far, through 6 games, Jack Hughes has looked like the player that the Devils drafted him to be, which is a very good sign. Heading into the season, in my predictions video, I said in order for the Devils to surprise some people and be better than maybe a lot of people expect them to be, Jack Hughes has to take that next step, and it looks like he has. So that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said at the start, if you guys want to see something like this every week or every other week, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, if you guys did enjoy today's video, be sure to leave it a like. That is the best way to show your support. And most importantly, if this is your first time on the channel and you want to see more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all in the next video.